here because I have stairs on the back that are kind of a problem for her until she gets a little bigger. But I thought I would show you, we're working on come and sit, and it's taken a while for her to learn how to understand words, basically, learn how to learn. So I'm going to show you a little introduction of the words we're using to shape her obedience, or basically form come and sit. So the first thing I did is I conditioned her to what's called a yes marker. A marker is basically like clicker training, only it's a word instead of a click. And I use that word when I want to indicate that she's done something correct and has earned a reward, or if she's made a mistake and I don't want her to repeat the behavior. So what I did initially is she responded to her name really well for you guys, for your voices, but she had to learn how to understand my voice. So now what I started doing is just saying her name, and as soon as she'd make eye contact with me, I'd say yes and treat her. And I've got to use very, 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 very tiny treats for her. She fills up fast. Luna! Yes! She couldn't see because I was in the way there, but as soon as I said her name, she looked at me. And that's the basis of everything in obedience is eye contact. Luna! Yes! So she jumped up there. I don't normally reward jumping up, but since she's so basic, I just want to reward her for responding. Luna? Yes! Good dog! So the word I'm using here is yes. Yes, and I'm going to type this up for you and send it in an email. But what yes means is, I like what you're doing, a reward is coming, and you can move to access it. So it's a release from things like sit and stay, or down, where I want her to remain in a sedentary position. So here, what I'm doing is when she looks at me, I'm saying yes to mark the exact moment she gives me eye contact, and then I'm actually moving a little bit so that she chases the treat. Yes. So I'm stepping back and letting her chase my hand. So the reward is not just the treat, it's this little game of chase, this whole interaction with me, not just the food reward. Hi, good girl. You want to show her your SIT? Oh, yes, good girl. Apparently your dog spells too, because we have not taught her that. That was coincidence. So what I was going to show you is sit, not SIT. Let me break this up a little bit. Luna, come. Good girl, good come. So with come, you always want to use a really positive voice. I'm a little over the top, but she likes it. Luna, sit. Yes. So she's so little. Most dogs, when you teach sit, what you do is you start by taking a treat and touching the end of their nose and pulling up. But yes, good girl. But she tends to jump up more than anything because she's so little. She's used to having to raise herself to get to things that she wants. So I'm pulling up, and then I'm actually pushing back towards her nose so that she's falling on her butt. Let's see if you can see this again. Face the camera a little bit. Luna, sit. Yes, good girl. And I'm saying sit just before I lift my hand. Luna, good. Sit. And eventually, just holding your, hand above her head like that should get her to sit. Now she's still not picking up on the words, she's picking up on the body language, but from there, with enough repetition, she'll gradually move on to sit means sit because of the word, not the hand motion. Luna, come. Good. Sit. So she's jumping up. I don't want that. Yes. So when we're teaching a new behavior, I use the yes marker only. As soon as she hits the ground, her butt hits the ground, I'm saying yes and releasing her to the treat. When she gets a little better, I'm going to start to have her stay in that sit position for longer and longer periods, and this is how we build duration towards stay. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Instead of just saying yes, I'm actually going to say good here, which is my second marker. Good, we use all the time, and it pretty much just means I like what you're doing, keep it up, I'm going to bring the reward to you. We use it a lot just for praise alone, and praise alone is a reward, so they're still consistent with the same definition, but I'll show you this. Okay, so, Good girl, sit. Sit. She's distracted. Sorry. Good. Now I want her to stay there, so I'm going to tell her good. Good. And I keep giving her treats as long as she stays there until I'm ready to release her, and then I'll say yes. And then I want her to come forward. Good girl. She's still got a pretty short attention span, which is normal for her age. And every little crumb that I drop, which is a lot with these treats because I'm breaking them up to be so tiny. So she's sniffing around a lot on the ground. So I'm really careful to not drop treats for her. I just want to reward her from the hand because she's already so tiny and low to the ground. She's going to do a lot of sniffing down there anyways. So not a lot of huge updates, but she's coming along very well. I'm quite content with her progress. Luna, come! Good girl! Good come! Good girl. She's a good girl.